I want to read from your book.
Yeah.
On page 17, you said earlier, Dele Giwa had made us aware of his cordial relationship with General Ibrahim Babangida, the then Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, and the President, who had personally intervened and got his Newswatch communications over 1 million naira import license. You said despite the fact that import license had been abolished then.
Good.
Dele Giwa mentioned how close he was to Brigadier Aliyu Mohammed and many other senior government officials. I mentioned to him that in consonance with our agreement at the October 7th, 1986 DMI seminar, any information available to us should be shared with them, the mass media. We were only keeping our side of the agreement. We also told him that if we believed the information, we would not have told him. So you didn't believe the information. So why did you invite him?
To warn him about he talks too much. And some of the talkings is what, when he was talking about blackmail, I said, come, are you sure some of the people you mention all these things to are not jealous of you? And they're just trying to blackmail to those you say you are close to, so that they stop disbelieving you.
Did you get any information that after that interview with you, that he went to Tony Momo, who was a minister in the IBB government, to complain that he feared for his life?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
You were not aware of that? Because information reaching me is that he became scared of his life. He did not understand the repeated invitation by the intelligence service under Babangida.
No, the only one I was aware about is Ganifa Emi's utterances. That he got I think after he left that place, Ganifa said he should put these things in writing, which he gave to Ganifa Emi.
There was an interview that has been purportedly linked to you. So I want you to take this opportunity to tell me if it is true. They said you were at the airport and you were asked about Dele Giwa's killings, and the suspicion in the public was that he was killed by government. So that you made this statement. They quoted it by saying, you said that one person cannot come to blackmail us. I am an expert in blackmail. I can blackmail very well. I studied propaganda, so no one person can come and blackmail us after an agreement. Did you make that statement?
No.
Have you read that statement anywhere?
No.
You've not seen that statement?
No, the only one was that was the day I was traveling out. Journalists came to me at the airport. I said, we know you. I said, who am I? I was a colonel there. A colonel told me, I said, meaning what? They said they wanted to interview me. I said, no. I'm not a governor. I'm not a minister. I am not this and that and that. They said, okay, at least you can tell us where you are traveling to. I said, I'm traveling out of Lagos. And they said, I've not said anything. I said, I've told you something. I'm traveling out of Lagos. Then they left. But I think some of them were lingering around. It was at the waiting room. People who were not moving around. One of the SS officers that came to see me off just said, he didn't like the way these journalists are called this and that and that and that and that. I said, my friend.
The way they were talking about the death of Giwa?
Complaining against me.
They suspected you.
No, the boss just said that he didn't like the way the journalists were reporting and complaining.
Complaining about what?
Against me.
That what?
What is happening?
What was happening?
Now, the death of Dele Giwa.
They were complaining about who killed Dele Giwa.
And I asked that officer, I said, have you seen where there is collision between a car and an Okada man? He said, yes. I said, what happens? He said, any Okada man that gets there, we just support the Okada man. I said, good. I said, Dele Giwa was a journalist. So all these journalists are just arguing for him without checking. That was the only time. That was when the paper reported it, that I said Dele Giwa is like an Okada man and this, which I didn't say.
No, you said it.
No.
You just gave the scenario now.
That was my officer was talking with.
So they were eavesdropping.
Exactly.
Or perhaps your officer recorded you and sold it to the newspaper.
It's not possible.
Why are you sure? You advised Dele Giwa to be careful of his friend.
Listen, no, the airport issue.
That's what I'm saying. Perhaps that information comes from your officer.
I just told the boy, I gave him an analogy.
Yes.
This and this and that. They said, oh, look, I said, that's exactly why
you did not speak with the journalists.
I didn't speak with the journalists.
So how did the journalists get the information?
Because people, this is waiting room at the airport.
Was your voice that loud?
No.
You were whispering.
People are moving around.
You were whispering.
I wasn't whispering. I was speaking normally.
You were talking normally.
Yes.
So they must have heard you.
That's the thing. Because it was the second day that they called me. I went to Calabar. That it was in the newspaper that I was comparing the lady Giwa death with a problem of Okada and something.
But that is true. But that is true.
It's not true.
Perhaps they gave it wrong interpretation. You said it.
Yes.
But it was wrongly interpreted. That's the point you are making.
Good. And because I asked the officer, when I said, okay, if there is a collision between a car and an Okada person, when the Okada people get there, what happens? He said they will support the Okada man. I said, they won't find out what happened though. I said, but these journalists are supporting Dele Giwa because he's a journalist. That's what...
A parcel bomb was sent to Dele Giwa, right?
Yeah.
They said the parcel bomb... Is it true? It was well packaged, like a message from the head of state. Is it true?
That was what they said. It's not true. Because I have analyzed that aspect. Because he said the parcel was in an envelope, which Kayode Soyinka said is a padded envelope. And he said that it was put there from the CNC.
Commander-in-Chief.
Now, but again, he said there was insignia of the presidency on the envelope. If there is the insignia of the presidency there is no need again from the CNC.
Okay, so that is one.
That is one. Now, he said, talking about this parcel bomb, I've analyzed some of areas of doubt of the statements. Because most of the time, the press was quoting Kayode Soyinka.
He was the only eyewitness.
Very good.
He was with Dele Giwa.
Exactly.
When the bomb exploded.
Exactly.
What kind of bomb exploded?
He's the only one that knows.
No, but a bomb exploded. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And as the Deputy Director General of the SSS, You didn't care to know the kind of bomb that exploded?
Okay, let me tell you something. When that incident happened, General Babangida wanted SSS to investigate. But when accusation came up against me and Akilu, that was the police to investigate. Now, I cannot start answering questions about the type of bomb and this and that and that.
Who should answer that question?
The police and the IG, Omeben.
Okay, before we get to Omeben, what we all agree on is that a bomb exploded.
Exactly.
And that bomb killed Dele Giwa. Before the bomb incident on October 19th, 1986, it was said that the DMI boss, Halilu Akilu, had called Dele Giwa, intimating him of his likely visit. Is that true?
Yes.
That is true.
There you remember mentioned it.
Halilu Akilu wanted to visit Dele Giwa.
He asked for his address.
House address.
Yeah.
And he never visited.
He explained. Because DIG, remember, said they invited Akilu.
Okay.
And he came. They asked him all these questions. That he said he was planning to travel. So, and he felt that, okay, if his house is close by, on his way to the airport, he could branch and see him. But he didn't.
He didn't?
He didn't travel again.
So why didn't he call to say, I'm not coming again? Okay, you are not Halilu Akilu.
Exactly.
But he wanted to get the house address.
But Omebe cleared Akilu.
But he got the house address, right?
Yes.
And after getting the house address, the next day somebody delivered the letter. Right?
It was 2 days after.
Okay, 2 days after. Please help us.
There's no link.
Or is it coincidence?
Wait. I mentioned it in my book.
Yes. You are here now.
That all this time was secondary school. My favorite magazines were True Detective, Master Detective, which were true crime records of American police. And I mentioned that there was a woman, a widow, that was murdered. 2 weeks before that murder, she had problem. Assault from a black boy, black American. Police documented a lot of things. So in the moment the woman was murdered, they picked that boy up. Because automatically everybody will pick her.
The coincidence.
He threatened the woman. They picked the boy up. After all checks, they couldn't trace anything to the boy. So they released the boy. But there was a 67-year-old man who's a neighbor to that woman. He was harassing the police. How far you go about the investigation? What are you doing? You have found a solution to it. You should be able to identify the murderer. So the concern was getting to this to the police. Then they ran a check on this man. He was the one that murdered the woman.
So link that story to the Dele Giwa subject.
Because where people are thinking, that's normally you should not be the source. And you look into other areas.
In your book, you dedicated enough pages looking at Kayode Soyinka.
I will bring all the things I read, all the observations I raised about him in this place. Let him come and explain them.
Kayode Soyinka was at the time the London bureau chief of Newswatch.
Yes.
It was with Dele Giwa.
Yes.
When the parcel bomb arrived.
Yes.
When the parcel bomb arrived, right?
Yes.
It was a parcel bomb. He was there. So why do you feel? Because you gave a breakdown, raising some questions.
I raised more than enough questions.
So why didn't you arrest Kayode Soyinka at the time?
I was not the investigator.
Why didn't police arrest him at the time?
We raised all these things to the police. It is one of the annexures.
Why didn't the police arrest him at the time?
The police should be able to answer that question.
Huh?
Because we read all these things.
He was in the country. He attended Dele Giwa's burial with his family. The police did not arrest him. And General Togo is coming out now to say that Kayode Soyinka should be interrogated.
I am convinced. And in fact, DIG Omebe put it in his book, autobiography. There's a chapter on Dele Giwa.
He investigated the case.
He said when they sent for Kayode Soyinka, that they wanted to see him.
So why didn't they arrest him?
He had run away.
Run away?
Wait. The answer that the people gave them was that, he does not work here.
He has been coming to this country repeatedly. Why has nobody arrested him?
I don't know if police is aware of his coming in and going out.
The police has not declared him wanted.
Because they've not concluded this thing. And that's one of the things I am raising in my book.
Recently...
I raised my decision and I said other people who this book can give other ideas so should contribute the thing. Let us add to my own so that we can find a solution.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.